LawCall is provided in the public interest by Timberlake, League & Brooks, which pays an advertising fee to this station.
This is Way 31 Law Call.
Good evening and welcome to Way 31 Law Call. I'm Sharon Doviet. Tonight it's Ask Us Anything night, so call in your questions on any legal topic. Maybe you've gotten through Valentine's Day and you've decided that's the last one. You're interested in doing something about that marriage. Or maybe you're thinking about we're coming into tornado season and being prepared for if something were to happen, insurance kind of questions. Or maybe you're thinking about summer vacations already and you're thinking about being on the road and what could happen. Any kind of legal question you've got tonight, call in the 31 Law Call number, 256-536-0077. Call in and be live on the air with us. Or you can text us to that same number, and we'll be receiving some of your text questions. We're getting some coming in already, 536-0077. You can also email a legal question on any legal topic any day of the week. You send it to lawcall@waytv.com. And when we get to a show that's on point, we pull some out. We've got Heath Brooks from Timberlake, League & Brooks with us tonight. Glad to have you here.
Good to be here. Call us with all your questions.
All your questions. We're talking about the Olympics. You've been watching. Personal injury attorney. There's a personal injury attorney.
I know. He's the oldest ever person to compete in the Olympics. He competes in curling. So
he's what, 52?
52, 53. Pretty awesome.
Can you imagine calling the judge and saying, I need to, you got to continue that trial. You got to move it because I'm going to be at the Olympics.
I'm going to be in Milan.
We love that. Call in your questions. While we get some calls locked in, we've got tonight's You Make the Law Call video. We pulled some video off of YouTube. Check this out. The guy in the SUV, he is lucky. Not only did he get around that 18-wheeler, he manages to get around that telephone pole. And it's stormy weather, too. I think it's thunderstormy kind of weather that they're going through. They'll play it again in just a second. As you look at this as a personal injury attorney, what are you seeing? I mean, I don't know if the guy in the SUV could even know that was coming at him, but he swerves, he gets away from it somehow.
No.
18-wheeler accidents are terrible.
Couple things. First is, when it's raining outside and the weather's bad, the first thing you need to make sure you're doing is you're acting safely for the conditions. That means if the speed limit's 45 miles an hour, maybe it's not safe to travel 45 miles an hour, you know, and so you want to be safe and cautious when there's bad weather outside to ensure that, you know, you're safe and you don't hurt anyone else on the road. And then especially if you're a tractor trailer and the weather's bad, the wind's blowing, things of that nature. I've had situations where tractor trailers have been moved from side to side because of the wind or the weather, you know, and ultimately it's the responsibility of the driver of that truck, who are more trained than any other drivers on the road to know whether they're A, should be operating that truck on the road, or B, are traveling safely for the conditions. In that situation, what I see that a tractor trailer that's losing control and comes into someone else's lane while they're lawfully there pushes him off the road. And I can tell you that'd be a real problem for that car. I mean, you know, yes, it looked like that car avoided the telephone pole, but then it looked like it got pushed into a sidewalk at a high rate. It looks like the tractor trailer may have clipped it, and there's a lot of weight with a tractor trailer. And even a small, what I would consider to be a small impact, a brushing impact, with all that weight, can really, really cause some damage to the people who are inside the car, push you way off the road. So, you know, I kind of put that one on the tractor trailer. I will say, though, in these types of accidents, you know, yes, there may be a claim to make, and yes, you most likely need an attorney to help you navigate through those complicated tractor-trailer wrecks where you've got commercial policies of insurance, you've got, they're going to line up their lawyers, so that's a situation where you'd really need to contact a lawyer, but don't ever pass a tractor trailer on the right-hand side of the road. Okay,
because you see this stuff all the time.
Yes, and whatever you get out of a tractor trailer wreck, when you know we make claims for monetary damages, and whatever you get, when you get hit by a tractor trailer, a lot of times you wouldn't take it and do it again. So one of the ways to be safe on the road, just as friendly advice, is don't pass on the right of the tractor trailer, because the thing about a tractor trailer is that they are always trying to get over to the right, to the slow lane. So a lot of times they're not paying attention if you're going around them on the right. Is it still the tractor trailer's fault? Absolutely. But are you going to win if you get hit by a tractor trailer? Probably not.
I know that you kind of avoid, like you don't like to drive on interstates if you can find another way, right?
No, that's right.
Just for safety purposes.
I try to stay off of an interstate, and I know sometimes you got to do it. Sometimes you got to get on the interstate, get from point A to point B. But if I can, I turn on the avoid highways on my GPS just to stay off the interstate so that I can take it easy.
When I see big loads, somebody that's got a big something strapped down and chained down to the back, give them plenty of space.
That's right.
You don't want to have to deal with it.
That's right.
We've got callers waiting.
Sure.
We've got Linda on the line with a question from Muscle Shoals. Hi, Linda. Thanks for calling tonight. What's your question?
We bought a brand new 2025 car at the end of November, and the next morning after we drove it that night, we did not like it, and my husband went back the next morning and asked if we had the 3-day change your mind thing.
Yeah.
And they said, no, once you lease a car, it's yours. And this lease was 4 years.
Wow.
And so, and then it was almost $1,000 a month, too.
Sure.
Okay, so,
and don't say where you got it from, but don't say the name of the dealership or anything like. But did you get it from a dealership, or what kind of situation did you get it in?
Yes.
A dealership.
Linda, was it a brand new car?
And I looked it up online tonight, and it said there's 591,000 vehicles on a recall, and it says it's a critical, fatal. It's a
really dangerous recall that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's unpack this. First, let's hit a recall. Whenever your vehicle is recalled, what that means is that the manufacturer has identified a safety issue, or sometimes it's a cosmetic issue that they will replace free of charge. So the first thing I will tell you is take the vehicle into the dealership and get the recall taken care of. That's number one. Number two, generally in the state of Alabama, you do have a cooling off period when you purchase a new vehicle. And the problem is going to be is that you really need to look at the documents you signed when you lease the vehicle, because you can waive your right for a cool-off period if it's actually in the lease agreement. So what I would advise you to do, Linda, is get a copy of all your lease agreements, and if you read through them and see if you've waived your right to a cooling off period, and then most likely contact an attorney to see if that attorney can review those documents to see if that is actually in the contract. Because when you lease a vehicle, we call it a lease, but it is a contract. It is a contract for you to be able to take that vehicle for a period of time and pay payments on a monthly basis, and then ultimately return the vehicle. So your obligations and the company who leased you the vehicle is going to be determined by what's on that actual lease agreement. So, without knowing more, that's what we'd have to look at.
For people to learn for the future, if you get in a situation like this and the company is refusing to take it back, would you try to send them something, get something in writing to prove that you tried to do it?
Yeah, that's a very good point. So, whenever you're communicating with these companies, you get on the phone, you try to have a reasonable conversation. That oftentimes, even if it's reasonable, they may forget down the road that they ever talked to you, or at least they'll tell you they forgot. So keep those kinds of important things in writing. If you have a conversation, hey, we discussed this lease, you told me I could return this vehicle within 10 days. If I'm incorrect, please advise within 24 hours. That's kind of how I memorialize conversations like that.
Good. We've got Howie on the line with a question from Huntsville. Hi, Howie. Thanks for calling. What's your question tonight?
Yeah, my parents passed away a little over 20 years ago, and me and my brother inherited their house here in Huntsville, and he's been staying it for the past over 20 years, and we never settled up. But finally, I said that we needed to file for a sale for division. He told me that it's been over 20 years, and I can't do that because there's a law of repose in Alabama, and I wanted to find out if that's true or not.
Gotcha.
Well, there is a law of repose in the state of Alabama, but it wouldn't apply to property that you actually own, Howie. So when your parents passed away and the property passed on to you, that property, the day that they passed away, that property passed on to the heirs at law. I don't know how your parents' wills worked out, or whether there was a joint tenancy with the right of survivorship, or what sort of legal situation that you had. But once you have a property right, whether that's for an easement, whether that's for a piece of vacant land, whether that is for a house, like in your scenario, you are the partial owner of that property, and you can always petition the court for a sale or division of the assets.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back tonight. It's Ask Us Anything night. Stay with us.
LawCall is provided in the public interest by Timberlake, League & Brooks, which pays an advertising fee to this station.
You're watching Way 31 Law Call. Your rights, your calls, live. Presented by the Tennessee Valley's award-winning personal injury and wrongful death law firm, Timberlake, League & Brooks. Featuring the knowledge and experience of Attorney Michael Timberlake, Attorney Will League, Attorney Heath Brooks, Attorney William Maservi, and hosted by broadcaster and family law attorney Sharon Doviet. This is Way 31 Law Call.
Welcome back to 31 Law Call. Tonight it's Ask Us Anything night, so call in your questions. We've got Heath Brooks here from Timberlake, League & Brooks, and you guys helped celebrate Mardi Gras.
We did.
When was this? The building looks great. I love that.
The Mardi Gras parade this weekend, one of my favorite times of the year. You know, we had a big crowd in front of the building, big crowd, great parade this year. I was really happy to see the folks out there. So, and all the kids, you know, there's a bunch of kids that come out for Mardi Gras, and you got the beads that are thrown from the floats. There was a really, Huntsville lost an icon, Microwave Dave.
Yes,
he fantastic human being.
Such a great musician.
Yeah, there was a great float for him. It was good to see.
Sweet.
So, you know, but what a great time for the city of Huntsville.
Y'all
really,
had a great
really
location for things happening downtown. Yeah. So it's Ask Us Anything night. We had an email question come in from Kelly. Kelly had written in saying, my 9-year-old was riding his bike and hit a car that was parked on the street and broke the side mirror off. So I notified the owner. I told her to call me when she had an estimate. I've got no problem with paying a fair price for this, but what if she comes back with some outrageous amount? What are my options?
Well, I mean, you know, first off, what would have to happen is she would have to sue.
Okay.
She would have to sue a 9-year-old.
Okay.
In order to get money back for the car. So that's generally not going to happen. Now, presumably they could sue the parents and say, hey, look, you weren't properly, you should have given your 9-year-old a bike to ride around the neighborhood. That's probably not going to happen. But if they come back with some outrageous amount, then their only option, if you say, no, we're not going to pay that, is to sue. You know, and then of course you can get your own estimates and you'll have your own lawyers defending it, and that's going to be putting good money after bad. So likely that's not going to happen. Probably don't need to worry about it. But, you know, I would always ask somebody if there's damage, get a couple estimates. Don't just do one. And you want to see the paperwork from reputable companies that do this on a regular basis, and not just, you know, somebody in the neighborhood that says, I think I can take the dent out with my, you know, my toilet bowl plunger, you know, or something. Cost you $7,000.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, make sure it's reputable, make sure it's somebody that the community trusts, and get a couple.
We got a text question in. Does your auto insurance pay anything if you're working on a car and it falls on you? Okay, so how bad would it have to be? They were asking if it falls on you and kills you, but would your family get money from an auto insurance? So if you're doing something like that, does auto insurance cover you?
You know, most likely not.
Okay.
Most likely not.
There for.
There are some scenarios where that could potentially happen. Like, for instance, if you are working underneath your car and one of your coworkers caused, you know, the car to fall, then maybe you could argue there was some negligent conduct on the part of your coworker, but your own auto insurance wouldn't pay. Some auto insurance policies, and I've seen them, and it's very rare, have a small death benefit in them, and it's a no-fault type of policy. It means doesn't matter whether you caused your own death or whether somebody else did when you were driving, but your insurance policy will pay a death benefit, and it's not generally very much. You know, if your car falls on you, though, and I know this would be something that your family would look at, but it could be that the jack or whatever you're holding malfunctioned. You may have a products liability claim in that scenario.
Okay. Somebody writing in about the contracts that you sign for your child. If your child goes to play somewhere, you know, whether it's a trampoline park or whatever kind of park, if the child gets injured, can you sue, or is that over and done because you signed a contract? Any kind of legal grounds if your child gets a concussion?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, and this is something that we have that comes up on a very regular basis. And I can tell you that generally speaking, a child cannot waive their own, somebody else being at fault for their own injury. So in other words, if you go to one of these trampoline parks and you sign a waiver for your child, that is generally not valid under Alabama law at this time. If you sign a waiver and you as an adult gets hurt, then yes, you know, if the trampoline park is negligent or something along those lines, you don't have a claim. But you cannot sign away the rights of your child to make a claim against a negligent party. And we see this on a fairly regular basis.
You signed it, right? They try and convince you.
They're not valid.
Okay.
They're not valid.
We've got Cindy on the line with a question from Scottsboro. Hi, Cindy. Thanks for calling. Thanks for watching. What's your question tonight?
Okay, I'm still in a settlement. I was involved in a car accident.
Okay.
And they keep pushing me to come up there and sign the settlement of what the insurance company gave them, but they don't tell me how much my medical expenses are. So I told them I wanted to wait till my medical expenses was in, so I know how much the medical expenses is going to come out of that before I sign anything.
Yeah.
So now I'm not hearing anything from the lawyer on the settlement.
Yeah.
Okay.
How does she figure out what she's entitled to? How does that break down?
Okay, Cindy, and I don't know the terms of your initial contract or an engagement agreement with your attorney, but absent knowing that, I can tell you generally what you need to do. You need to ask in writing for a settlement statement. And that settlement statement should include your outstanding medical bills, or if you have health insurance, what your health insurance paid. It should include the expenses that the attorney incurred in pursuing your claim, and it should include a deduction for your attorney's share of their attorney's fees out of your resolution, and obviously the amount that the case was settled for. You know, one of the things to know in the state of Alabama is that your case is your case. So your attorney should be communicating with you about what the settlement amount is and what you could expect in the event that all the medical expenses are taken out and after the attorney's fees are paid and the expenses of the attorney are paid. So I would ask for all that in writing. If you don't get that in writing, I would ask to have a sit-down meeting with your attorney.
She's smart to be asking, right?
That's right. Yeah, because you know one of the things that I do, just in my own personal world, is I got to take a look at what those medical bills are before I make a resolution. You know, and then I will oftentimes ask the medical providers if they will reduce their medical bills. Will they if there's somebody who doesn't have health insurance, will you take a percentage of what's owed as opposed to the full amount, which is sometimes what we do. And then also, you know, if there's health insurance, sometimes we can work with health insurance to get those amounts reduced. Sometimes we can't, depending upon the type of health insurance that you get. But generally speaking, there should be a negotiation process, not only with the insurance company or the person who hit you or caused the wreck, but also with the health insurance company and any medical providers that have medical bills outstanding.
We've got Penny on the line with a question from Baileyton, Alabama. Penny, thanks for calling. What's your question tonight?
Okay, recently I had gone to a casino in Mississippi.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My machine came up with 3 7s. One of them was times 10, and it was for 9,000 points. I was playing a 75-cent machine, $6,750. They're trying to deny it at the casino. I had the gaming commission down there, and they're going to investigate it. They said I have to wait for a letter from them saying if it was denied or not. Now, if it's denied, I have to go to Jackson, Mississippi. Do I have to get a lawyer here in Alabama?
Good question. Haven't had one of these before.
Penny,
we hope you win, too.
Yeah,
we want
absolutely.
you to get your money.
Yeah, well, I don't know what they're arguing and why they're not giving you your money, but, you know, be that as it may well be, you need a lawyer in Mississippi. Or you need a lawyer in the state of Alabama that is licensed to practice law in the state of Mississippi. So, you know, if in fact it ends up being denied and you actually have to retain a lawyer, it may not be a situation where you need to retain a lawyer, but, you know, with that kind of, if it is in fact a situation where you are entitled to this money, then there could be some fraudulent claims against the casino and other claims that you could take advantage of. So it would definitely benefit you, you know, in the event that it is denied, to attempt to contact an attorney that is licensed in the state of Mississippi where the casino is.
I think she's telling folks in the booth that they're claiming it's a machine malfunction. I bet you there are lawyers in Mississippi or anywhere that's got casinos and gambling. I bet there are lawyers that specialize in that kind of law, because you would not be the first one. You would not be the first one.
A machine oh, you won. Must have been the machine that malfunctioned. I don't know that's going to fly.
I want Penny to get her money.
Absolutely.
We have got Philip on the line with a question from Huntsville. Hi, Philip. Thanks for calling. What's your question tonight?
I have a question. If I inherit my parents' home and married, I live in the home with my wife, will she as well then own the home?
If you inherit the home and you're living in the home with your spouse, does she inherit the home?
Most likely not. That's not considered marital property. That's property that you've uniquely inherited from your parents, and that's not considered marital property between you and your wife. That property can change, though, in the event that you know, your wife comes in, maybe you get a new mortgage and your wife contributes to the new mortgage, or significant improvements. There are ways that may not turn out to be marital property.
Yeah, be careful. So if you want it to stay a particular way, don't go investing a whole bunch of your marital money into adding on, redoing it, putting a pool in the back, because that's her money, even if it came out of your paycheck. Your paycheck is partly hers, her paycheck is partly yours. So be careful with something like that.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. Be right back. Answer more of your questions for Ask Us Anything night.
LawCall is provided in the public interest by Timberlake, League & Brooks, which pays an advertising fee to this station.
Answer tonight. Here's how to get in touch with Heath Brooks, Timberlake, League & Brooks in Huntsville, 256-536-0770 or 800-804-2502. The website is law-injury.com. And if you like them on Facebook, you can learn more about the law that way.
And Sharon is a family law attorney. She does child custody, divorces. If you need to reach her, she can always be reached at 256-539-7337 or www.sharonfamilylaw.com.
You're seeing something with wind damage claims and insurance companies. What are you seeing?
Yes. Wind damage claims are oftentimes en masse denied by insurance companies. Your shingles get blown off, tree gets blown into your house, an insurance company will deny all the claims of that neighborhood. Take pictures, take photos. If you need to, get a lawyer. That's one of those things that they should pay, and the time is coming.
Okay. Thanks for all your questions tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good night.